London is one of the largest, richest cities on earth. It dominates Britain economically, politically, culturally. But Britain had multiple moments in history when another global city could have emerged. Another financial center, another industrial powerhouse, another capital in all but name. And every single time, it didn't happen. This isn't just a story about a city. It's a story about how systems form and why they rarely move. When you look at Britain through a map, one pattern becomes obvious. Everything leans toward London. More than 9 million people. Over 22% of national economic output. Transport lines radiating outward like gravity. But history doesn't begin with dominance. It begins with possibility. The Midlands sit at the geographic center of England. Northern England powered the Industrial Revolution. Britain has multiple deep-water harbors capable of supporting enormous cities. On paper, the UK could easily have developed 2, even 3 Londons. So why didn't it? To answer that, we need to look at Britain the way systems look at it. Through geography, through infrastructure, through institutional momentum, not just events, but structures. Let's begin with the foundational layer, geography. The Thames isn't just a river. It is a transport system. It is protection from invasion. It is inland access from the sea. It is a trade corridor that penetrates deep into southeastern England. The Romans recognized this in 43 AD when they founded Londinium at the first fordable point of the Thames, a location that combined defensive advantages with navigational access. Now, compare that with Britain's other major river systems. The Severn is long, but historically unstable and harder to navigate. The Humber is wide, but exposed and less politically central. The Mersey allowed Liverpool to flourish. But only after oceanic trade expanded dramatically in the 18th and 19th centuries, the Thames combined 3 advantages simultaneously: access, shelter, proximity to early centers of political authority. Geography created an initial imbalance, but geography alone does not create dominance. It creates an advantage within a system, and systems reward early advantage. London wasn't just lucky, it was geographically inevitable within Britain's natural layout. Now we move to the second layer, political systems. After 1066, power began consolidating around Westminster. Winchester had been England's early royal seat. The treasury remained there under William the Conqueror. But over the next century, Westminster gradually became the center of government. The monarchy operated there. Parliament formed there. By the reign of King John in the early 1200s, the Exchequer had moved from Winchester to Westminster. National courts and taxation systems anchored themselves there. And once administrative systems embed in one location, they create institutional gravity, even as other cities rose economically. York in the medieval north, Bristol in Atlantic trade, Manchester during industrialization. Political authority remained fixed. Then came railways. Railways could have decentralized Britain. Instead, they reinforced London. Private railway companies, seeking profit, built lines to connect their regions to Britain's largest market, London. Not because the government mandated it, but because that's where the money was. The Liverpool-London line, the Birmingham-London line, the Great Western Railway from Bristol, routes radiating north into Scotland. Yes, there were regional networks. The Liverpool-Manchester Railway in 1830, cross-Pennine routes connecting northern industrial cities. But the overwhelming pattern was radial. Lines connected regions to the capital far more than they connected regions to each other. The infrastructure reflected the economic center, and then it strengthened it. This is how systems harden. Geography feeds politics. Politics shapes infrastructure. Infrastructure reinforces geography. By the 19th century, London was no longer just a capital. It was the core node in Britain's national system. The third layer, economic systems. As Britain industrialized and expanded overseas, London became the financial clearinghouse of an empire. Shipping insurance, commodity trading, currency settlement, international lending. The Bank of England anchored financial credibility. Wealth was generated in Manchester. Ships launched in Glasgow. Coal mined in Newcastle. But financial control concentrated in London. That distinction matters, because control determines future growth. When financial institutions cluster, investment decisions cluster. When investment decisions cluster, infrastructure clusters. And when infrastructure clusters, talent follows. Other cities grew powerful. London became indispensable. And once a city becomes indispensable within a system, building an alternative requires dismantling that system. Britain attempted regional rebalancing, development policies in the 1960s and 70s. Devolution to Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland in the 1990s. The Northern Powerhouse Initiative in the 2010s. But by then, the network effect was too strong. Once London pulled ahead, reversing that momentum became exponentially harder. Not by decree, by design of the system itself. Today, London's gravity shapes everything. Transport routes still orient around it. Government departments cluster around it. Media networks operate from it. Global firms anchor in it. Ambitious graduates move there. Capital flows there. Policy forms there. Other British cities are significant. Manchester, Birmingham, Glasgow, Edinburgh. But none combine political authority and financial dominance in the same way. Because Britain didn't just choose one capital, it built overlapping systems: geographic, political, financial, infrastructural, that all aligned in one place. And once those systems lock together, moving them becomes exponentially difficult. Britain didn't choose one capital. It built a system where only one could ever dominate. This is what happens when geography and institutions reinforce each other over centuries. History isn't just events. It's systems, drawn on maps.